Hey everybody, how's it going? All right, I know I'm super early for this workshop. I'm like 3 hours early, but my arrangements for the swimming tonight fell through, so I have to take my daughter to swimming lessons at workshop time. So I thought better early than late. So if you happen to catch this live, that's great. Feel free to interact, ask questions, whatever. If you're watching the replay, drop a little hashtag replay in the comments so that we know that you caught the replay. And if you have any questions, still ask them and I will try to jump on later and answer as many questions as I can. All right, we are talking Metabolism 101 today. So in our Healthy Living program, every single month, Lindsay and I do workshops. These workshops are voted on by our members. So they're member-led, so we ask our members, what do you want to learn about this month? And we go ahead and create workshops based on that. So it's all based on where our members are at and what they're looking to learn. So this month, the members wanted more information on metabolism, and it happens to be a topic that I love talking about. So I'm super stoked to bring you guys the Metabolism 101 workshop. All right, this workshop is going to focus a little bit on understanding, but mostly on utilizing your metabolism. So first of all, we're going to start with what is metabolism. So you're here, you're watching, and you're like, Christina, I don't even know what you're talking about. So what is metabolism? The dictionary says that metabolism is, and I'm going to read some notes here, the chemical processes that occur within a living organism in order to maintain life. So metabolism in its dictionary form is the chemical process that occurs within a living organism in order to maintain life. In simpler terms that we will actually understand, it's basically the process of converting the food we eat into the energy required to live, move, and sustain life. So it takes the calories, those evil little things, the calories in food, and it converts them to the energy that your body needs to be able to move about the world, basically. So we care about metabolism for a number of reasons. The big one being, of course, that we want to sustain life, we want to stay alive, and we want to give our bodies the proper fuel to be able to run our systems. So it takes calories, it takes fuel, hey Michelle, to be able to blink, to talk, to put your feet on the ground in the morning, to open your eyes, to grow hair, to get your nails. All of those things take energy, take calories. So of course we care about metabolism in that term, that we want to stay alive. However, in this group, we're about weight loss. So we're going to discuss metabolism as it relates to weight loss. All right. Hi, Cassie. So metabolism is the process by which your body converts the calories in the food and beverages that you consume into the energy that your body needs to function. So even when you're completely at rest, aka sleeping, your body still needs energy for things like breathing, circulating your blood, growing your hair, repairing your cells, etc., etc. The list goes on and on. Your body is constantly doing things. So the number of calories your body needs to carry out these functions is individual to each person. So the amount of calories that my body takes that is different than the amount of calories that Cassie's body takes, or that Michelle's body takes, or that Lindsay's body takes. So everybody's is a little bit unique. And that unique number is referred to as your basal metabolic rate, which is commonly just referred to as metabolism. And we see people like Cassie and like I used to be, that we say, my metabolism sucks. And sometimes they do, but we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So it's basically your metabolism is the bare minimum number of calories needed to sustain life without damage or compromise to your body and your organs and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what your BMR is, or your metabolism. Is basically the minimum number of calories you need to sustain life without doing any damage, without slowing down systems, without compromising anything in your body. So for your body to run at peak performance, you have a number of calories that you need, and that number is different for everyone. So your BMR can be tested, but to some degree, you know, it's programmed in you from life. So you can make some changements, some adjustments, and you can test your number now, and then you can work on some of the things I tell you in this workshop, and you can test it again in a year. And it may have some small changes to it, but a lot of it is genetic. So it's based on things like your gender. You cannot change, well, you can't easily change your gender. It's very difficult to change your gender. So it's based on gender, that typically men have higher, faster metabolisms than women. Your age is another thing. You cannot change your age. It changes naturally, But age definitely plays an impact on metabolism. Your metabolism is faster when you are younger and it slows as you age. So those of you that are a little bit older in the group, you're like, ah, that explains some things. I used to be able to do X, Y, Z without gaining weight. As I got older, it got more difficult. And then the last thing, and one that you can actually change, is your body composition. So that's the size of your body, the way your genetic makeup in terms of your percentage of body fat and things like that. So those things, and your weight, your percentage of muscle, all of that kind of stuff, those are things that we can adjust. So your metabolism is primarily based on those three pieces: your body composition, your gender, and your age. So those are kind of some of the main factors in determining metabolism. So the only one that we can actually really work with is body composition. So your body's BMR is based on energy needs for basic functions, and these aren't easily changed. So changing your metabolism isn't super easy. So it's kind of difficult to do. Your body needs a certain, sorry guys, I just have to try to keep up with these comments. Totally, I probably agree with that, Cassie, and I'm going to get there in just a minute. But I'm definitely going to talk about some of the common mistakes that we make in metabolism in just a second. So as I said, your body needs a certain number of calories, a certain amount of energy to do all these basic functions. So your body needs a certain amount of calories every time you blink. Your body needs a certain amount of energy every time you talk. Your body needs a certain amount of energy to grow hair, and everybody's energy needs are a little bit different, and those energy needs are really hard to change. So if your body decides that it needs 4 calories to blink, then that's just going to be the same. It's very unlikely that you can change that. It's just really, really difficult to make those changes. Weight loss surgery does adjust your body's hormone levels, and it gives you an artificial reset to your metabolism. So your BMR gets really confused, and it forgets temporarily that you're obese, basically. So it gives you a fresh start to your metabolism. So it forgets how much you weigh. It forgets that you don't have super crazy muscle mass. It forgets that your body fat percentage is really high. So all of those things kind of change for a second, and your metabolism starts fresh, and you get a brand new, fresh slate. You're still the same sex. You're still the same age. So those two things can't be adjusted. But your body composition piece, you get a reset button when you have weight loss surgery. And you then have a fresh chance to make your metabolism burn more efficiently and burn fuel quicker. All right, so that's the magic of weight loss surgery. The restriction, the tiny tummy, all of those things, who cares? Honestly, they change over time, trust me. The metabolic reset is where the party's at. So in time, your hormones do level out, and your BMR does get its memory back. So your metabolism is like, hey, wait a minute, I remember this stuff. We were obese. I get this now, right? We got to slow this metabolism back down. So that does happen over time. But until that happens, you are in the honeymoon phase. So I don't talk about the honeymoon phase in terms of how long you have to lose weight. You can lose weight. I mean, we got people that are 6, 7, 8 years out and still losing weight. You can lose weight forever. I talk about your honeymoon phase as the time you have to train your metabolism. Men, don't listen for a second. Ladies, it is like when you get married and your honeymoon is the time your honeymoon period is the time you have to train your new husband. Just kidding, guys. We don't really do that. But your honeymoon phase is the time you have to train your metabolism easily. Now, obviously, in that time, you change your body composition. You're losing weight. You're gaining muscle mass, maybe. You're losing fat percentage, all of that stuff. But we can also make other changes to rev up your metabolism and make you burn calories more efficiently, creating long-term, sustainable weight loss without deprivation. So we don't want you depriving yourself. We want long-term, sustainable weight loss in a healthy way. All right? So we'll get to the tips in a minute on how to rev up your metabolism slowly. But first, I know that there's several of you watching right now live, and there'll be lots more watching this replay. And I know that lots of you are sitting there and you're outside of that 6 to 12 month honeymoon, that metabolic reset honeymoon phase. And you're thinking, well, crap, Christina, I'm doomed. I'm 2 years out, so my metabolism now is done. I'm just gonna grab a thing of ice cream and start eating. Please don't do that. So you're definitely not. Sure, you aren't still honeymooning anymore, but you can still rev up and adjust your BMR. It just takes more work and a little more focus and a little more dedication. It's not as fresh as someone who's in that honeymoon phase. So your BMR isn't going to adjust as easily. It's not going to train as simply. You know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You sure can. It just takes more work. So we can teach that old metabolism new tricks. We just got to focus a little more. We have to spend a little more time, a little more effort, all of that things. It does also depend on how many metabolic no-nos you've committed since your surgery. So if you've been metabolic no-noing, which I'm going to talk about the things not to do, if you've been doing those things, it's going to take a little more effort than if you've been doing all of the right things in the whole time, and you just need a little more focus, all right? So there's different levels of how easy it's going to be to rev up that metabolism. So let's take a minute now, as Cassie mentioned before about the starvation mode. We're going to address that and some of the other metabolic no-nos. The things you should avoid doing. So these are the things that slow down your metabolism. They make you burn fewer calories. And if you're consuming calories and your body's not using them and converting them to energy right away, you guessed it, it's storing them as fat. So you could be eating like 400, 500 calories a day, and your body just slows right down and doesn't convert those calories to usable energy. So a couple things happen. You feel exhausted, you feel run down, you get sick. Your internal organs are not functioning at peak performance. So maybe on the outside, you think everything's fine, but your liver isn't functioning properly anymore. Your heart is not pumping blood quick enough anymore because it needs energy, it needs calories to do that, and you're starving your body of those things. So then what happens is your body slows down that process of converting to energy, and you can actually gain weight at very low calorie levels or stall. Or the other thing is maybe you don't gain weight or stall, maybe you just stay status quo or whatever. But then one day you go ahead and you eat 1,200 calories and all of a sudden you gain 6 pounds. So crazy things like that can happen. So metabolic no-nos. Do not do these things. Do not try this at home, folks. These are the things that I want you to avoid doing in your journey. All right? So the first one is we want to avoid losing muscle mass. Of course we want to avoid losing muscle mass, Christina. That's very simple. I'm looking at you, cardio queens. So all of you that go to the gym and you jump on that elliptical and you give it your all for 2 hours and you're like, I'm a cardio queen. And that's all you're doing is cardio. Or you couch potato who just sits on the couch and doesn't work and is losing weight, and that's great. Maybe in your honeymoon phase the weight is coming off, but you're losing muscle mass as your weight goes down. So you don't want to lose muscle mass. You want to protect your muscle mass because losing muscle mass slows metabolism. All right, so whatever, if you do a body scan or something like that at the beginning of your journey and it tells you what your muscle to body fat percentage is, you don't want that muscle mass number to go down. You want it to go up. And we'll talk about how to bring it up afterwards, but don't lose muscle mass. That slows metabolism right away. All right? Do not live in calorie deprivation. So initially, you'll lose weight living in calorie deprivation. It's a part of bariatric surgery. We all live in calorie deprivation temporarily. You want to live in that zone for as little as possible. Over time, your body will slow your metabolic processes like I just talked about. So your body will slow down those metabolic processes. It'll conserve energy. It will cause stalling and even weight gain. So you definitely don't want to live in that calorie deprivation mode for very long. Calories equal energy. They're not evil little things. They're literally energy. All right? You do not want to skip meals. It puts your body into starvation mode. When your body doesn't know when it's going to eat next, it slows down and stores everything that you consume. So it'll slow all your processes down because it's like, okay, well, we ate breakfast this morning at 7 and then we didn't eat again till dinner at 5. So now when I eat dinner at 5, I might not eat again for 10 hours. So I need to slow down, and all those calories that she's giving me at dinner, I need to make sure I save those calories because they need to last me. So your body slows way down. And then it's not burning efficiently. It's not burning quickly. So you want to burn through that fuel and convert it to energy very quickly so it doesn't store. It doesn't matter how slowly your metabolism burns. It only has a certain amount of time until that energy turns into fat. All right. Eating too little protein. You do not want to eat very little protein. If you don't get enough protein, your metabolism slows. There's actually 2 reasons. So protein has a thermic effect on your body. So it's a temporary bump in metabolism that actually happens after you consume protein. So, and it occurs with digestion. Protein is harder to digest for your body than fat or carbs. So your body actually has to work hard to digest and convert that protein into energy. So it takes longer to digest and it's harder on your body. So your body's actually burning calories to get those calories, if that makes sense. And then the second one is protein helps build muscle, which takes us back to number one of not losing muscle mass. So that's the second reason why you want high protein. All right. No activity. You do not want to be inactive. Your metabolism revs up during activity, so when you're actually active, and then it stays revved up after your activity for a period of time as well. So it helps to rev up your metabolism, not just for that moment, but for the entire day. So moving your body regularly, or so not moving your body regularly slows metabolism. So I always tell people, if you know that you're going out for a fancy dinner or something like that, or you're going out for a not fancy dinner and you're going to McDonald's, and you know what, you're going to have a cheeseburger tonight. Make sure that you get some activity in that day, because it will rev up your metabolism so that you will actually burn the calories from that cheeseburger more efficiently. All right, I'm not saying go eat cheeseburgers, but I'm saying move your body. All right, sleep is the next one. If you are a poor sleeper, it sucks. I'm not a fabulous sleeper myself, so I understand. But poor sleepers, anyone who averages 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night or less, which there are those of us out there that do, are actually found to have an average of 8% slower BMR. So your metabolism is a slower metabolism naturally, just by being a poor sleeper. Your body rests, it repairs, it does all kinds of awesome things during sleep. So if you're not getting enough sleep, then it becomes a challenge on everything in your body, but definitely on your metabolism. Okay, so these are all of our metabolic no-nos. There's more, but those are some of the ones to start with. So the things that you should not do. So now some of these have obvious fixes, obviously, but I'm going to give you my top 10 ways to rev up your metabolism. So you may want to take some notes here. You can always come back to this. This workshop will be saved. But these aren't things that you're just going to do for 3 or 4 days and you're going to see magic results. They're intended to be long-term changes to your lifestyle. So pick a few of them, master those, and then once you've mastered those, move on to the next. Make them habits in your daily life to conquer metabolism. Get off that diet roller coaster and live with balance. So focus on metabolism, and it's going to give you more sustainable, long-lasting results in terms of your weight loss journey without living in restriction, deprivation, the diet roller coaster, all of those awful things that got us to bariatric surgery in the first place. All right? Okay. 10 things. Number one, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say this is the most important one. Are we ready? Number one, most important thing to rev up your metabolism. Drink at least 60 ounces of water, that clear, tasteless, whatever beverage per day. An 8-ounce glass of pure cold water is said to give you a 30% boost in metabolic burn for up to 1 hour after drinking it. Drink it all day long and that metabolism stays wicked revved up, right? Ice cold or super hot are actually the way to go. Your body needs to have body be at body temperature, so essentially close to room temperature-ish, to be able to use the body, to be able to use the water. So if it's ice cold, ice baby. Okay, if it's ice cold, your body needs to warm it up a little bit to use it, so you're actually burning calories just by consuming water. If it's warm, like hot, like tea, that kind of temperature, then your body has to cool it down to be able to use it. So hot and cold water actually rev up metabolism better than room temperature. Ice cold is the best, all right? 8 ounces of ice cold water bumps your metabolism by 30% for up to 1 hour afterwards. Again, if you're going for that McDonald's cheeseburger, drink an 8-ounce glass of water after your workout, and then you're gonna go ahead and burn even more of that cheeseburger off even faster, right? All right, number two, these aren't in particular order. Number one was what I think is the most important, but the rest of them, no particular order. Number two, eat breakfast. So eating breakfast, actually, it stops the fasting. So breakfast is break fast. So you're fasting overnight. Most of us aren't waking up in the night eating. So you're fasting in that overnight period. Breakfast stops the fasting period and starts your metabolic burn. You cannot burn calories in a day, or not very many anyways, until you consume calories. Your body needs that little start. Eating breakfast is the start button to your metabolism every day. So you go ahead, you eat your breakfast, your body starts burning calories. The earlier in your day that you consume calories, the earlier you start burning them. So eat right away or within 30 minutes to get the most hours of caloric burn in a day. If you wake up at 7 a.m. and you don't eat until 10, you've kind of wasted those 3 hours of caloric burn in your day. So your metabolism hasn't really started until 10 o'clock. If you wake up at 7 and you're stuffing food in your face at 7:05, you're starting to burn right away. It doesn't have to be anything major. I know some of you are not breakfast eaters. I know some people get nauseous eating breakfast, all of that kind of stuff. Have a protein shake, that's calories. A coffee with protein in it is calories. Eating an energy ball is calories. Sitting down to, turkey bacon and eggs and Ezekiel bread and all of that, that's calories too. Whatever you choose to eat, just start your day with calories. As soon as calories in, then calories start being used by your body more efficiently. All right. Eat the right number of calories per day. Obviously, eating too many calories cause fat storage, but eating too few does also cause the slowdown in your BMR that we talked about before. Regulating those calorie levels to fuel your body without over or under eating is a fine balance. It's not a one size fits all, and it changes over time based on your lifestyle. So finding that sweet spot, if you get your BMR tested, which most cities you can Google BMR testing in Calgary, BMR testing in Minnesota, BMR testing in wherever you live, Timbuktu, you can Google that and it'll help you find somewhere to do it. But without testing it, we can sort of find your sweet spot based on your kind of lifestyle and all of those kind of things, and a lot of trial and error. You're your best lab rat. So sort of figuring out how many calories is too many and how many is too few. Lindsay and I talked the other day in our live, one of our clients whose brother is in a coma needs to have 1,400 calories a day to sustain life in a coma. An adult woman is said to need about 900 calories a day to sustain life in a coma. If you are not in a coma right now, which if you're watching this, you are not, you need at least 900 calories a day. It's probably closer to 1,200. And if you're active, you're more like 16, 18, somewhere in there, 100. There's a lot of calories that your body needs to convert to energy. I know calories are scary for lots of you, but we can definitely talk about those things. These are things we talk about all the time in our Healthy Living program. We try to help our members find out how many calories they need. We have lots of people that have been doing their BMR testing and sharing their results too. So Elizabeth, so with 60 ounces of plain water or would tea or other things count towards that goal? 60 ounces of plain water is the goal. Above and beyond that is where your squirty things and your tea and all of that come into play. So 60 ounces of plain water should be goal, and then adding the flavored things on top of that to get to where the actual water that you should be at, which, let's be honest, half your body weight in water in a day, half your body weight in ounces of water in a day is the goal. And most of us are not at 120 pounds. Remember, a 120-pound person needs 60 ounces. If you're not 120 pounds, we need more. Cassie, I wasn't told how much protein or calories I should be eating. We can definitely help with that. Again, I would start yourself somewhere around 1,200, and then based on activity level, you're usually going up from there. We have a formula that you can use to calculate your BMR loosely, but unless you actually get that BMR test done, it's really hard to know exactly. All right, number 4 on revving up metabolism. Build muscle. The higher your muscle mass, the faster your BMR is going to be. So, or the more calories your body's going to need. So you need more muscle. Muscle is more metabolically active than fat. So that means that muscle burns more calories and for a longer period of time than fat. So you want to work on building as much muscle as possible. That means strength training. That means lifting weights. That means, doing push-ups and all of that kind of stuff. That is not just cardio queens. That is not couch potatoing. That is building muscle. All right. Number 5, eat protein. So protein keeps you full for longer and has a higher thermic effect, like we talked about before, than fat or carbs. It's approximately 10% higher than carbs and 5% higher than fat, the thermic effect. So it actually helps you, it takes more energy. It takes 5 to 10% more energy, so more calories, to burn protein and convert it to fuel than it does with fat or carbs. So as I said before, you're winning by burning calories, by consuming calories. So protein is where it's at. Number 6, focus on sleep. So sleep can boost the fullness hormone leptin and decrease the hunger hormone ghrelin. So a rested body burns fuel more efficiently, revs up your metabolism, and increases your overall caloric burn. You will notice ghrelin, you can tell that you have more ghrelin if on a night when you don't sleep really well, and then you're really hungry the next day and you're craving a lot the next day and all of those kind of things. Whereas if you're better rested, when your fullness hormone, your leptin, tends to go up, and you actually feel more balanced in your life usually, and in your eating and stuff like that. So rest is really important on the hormone chemical level, but also just on the exhaustion level too. You're more likely to get your workouts in when you're better rested. You're more likely to plan your day when you're better rested. It's easier to stay on track when you're better rested. So sleep is really, really good. All right. Okay. The next one, number 7, eat small, frequent, balanced meals. So small, frequent meals is one of the keys to bariatric surgery. It's why you get a tiny tummy with bariatric surgery, so that you can't eat massive meals. You can't sit down and smash 900 calories in a meal and then not eat for 12 hours. It's hilarious to me that my boyfriend and I will occasionally go out to dinner. And we went for a buffet not long ago, which a bariatric patient at a buffet is hilarious. But I like variety when I eat. So I was like, sure, you want to go to a buffet? We'll do that, babe. All for you. So anyways, we went to a buffet. He gorged himself and ate so much food. He has a super fast metabolism, so whatever. He doesn't need to worry. But he gorged himself. It was like 5 hours later, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm still so full. It was 2.5 hours later, and I was eating again. And he's like, how are you eating? Because I eat small, frequent meals. It doesn't matter where we go, what we do. I eat pretty much the same amount all the time. I can't gorge myself anymore. It's something that my surgery fixed that I cannot do. I will get physically ill. So small, frequent meals, magic of bariatric surgery. By feeding your body at consistent intervals, your body can burn calories at consistent intervals. Ooh, that actually increases your overall BMR. If your body knows that it's getting 200 to 300 calories is what my body gets, approximately 300 usually, every 2 to 3 hours, your burn is predictable. My body knows that every 2 to 3 hours it can burn 300 calories, no problem. Let's convert and burn, convert and burn, convert and burn, because she's giving us more all the time. So it's just an awesome little way to do it. So I try to keep my meals and snacks all very consistently, all 200 to 300 calories. I eat 7 times a day typically, and that's just how my day goes every day. And it has for like almost 3 years. Okay, move your body. Number 8. We're on number 8 now for those that are following along. Number 8, move your body when you exercise, whether it's cardio or weights, ideally in a HIIT style, a high intensity interval training style. You continue to burn more in the hours after that workout. So this is what we talked about before. Thus, revving up that metabolic rate, regular exercise. So this isn't like a one and done, like, oh, I exercised last week, like, why am I not still burning? This is like regular exercise that we're doing it all the time. All right. Keeps this going. So doing this on a regular basis, 3 to 5 times a week at minimum, is kind of what you're looking for. And it doesn't need to be crazy intense in terms of length. That we recommend somewhere around 30 minutes. That's what all of our online live interactive group classes are. 30 minutes. In and out in 30 minutes is super great. Just make sure that you're working at that intensity level for 30 minutes. Number 9, consume fiber. Make sure that you're consuming soluble fiber. This kind of fiber moves through the digestive system and turns your gut bacteria into usable energy, which revs up your BMR. So good sources of soluble fiber are things like black beans, Brussels sprouts, avocado, sweet potatoes, broccoli, pears, flaxseed, oats, all of those kind of things. So you'll notice when you guys see my daily food journal, I eat a lot of those foods. I'm focused on fiber-rich foods. Fiber, consuming at least 25 grams of fiber per day for women and 38 grams of fiber per day for men, revs up your metabolism by up to 25%. So fiber equals good. Fiber revs up metabolism, gives you a better BMR, a higher caloric burn all the time. All right. Last tip here to rev up metabolism is consume or take omega-3. So this helps to speed up digestion, therefore increasing your BMR and speeding up metabolism. Good sources for omegas for things that you can eat are things like salmon, tuna, and herring. Or if you don't want to eat those things, if that's not your jam, then go ahead and take an omega-3 supplement, and that's going to help to rev up that metabolism. So we're almost 30 minutes. I wanted to keep this to 30 minutes. In summary, metabolism is absolutely 100% the magic in the weight loss equation in terms of weight loss surgery, but there isn't a quick fix. There's not a pill or a shake or a bar or even your surgery itself that's going to create a healthy, balanced, red hot metabolism. All that's going to do it is good old-fashioned hard work. So implementing a lot of these principles that I talked about, as many as you can, ideally, and focusing on them long term. So this is not a quick fix, nothing like that, that it's going to give you the best bang for your buck in terms of your weight loss surgery, in terms of revving up your metabolism, and in terms of long-term sustainable weight loss, which is what we're all after. All right, if you have any questions whatsoever, send me a message. Drop it in the comments. And remember, these workshops, the one that I'm doing tonight, these are what Lindsay and I do every single month in our Healthy Living program. If you want more details on our Healthy Living program, $20 a month. This workshop alone was worth that, right? Just kidding. But we offer that every single month, and they're member driven based on what you guys want to learn. So if you have any questions about any of that, drop a question here or send me a message, and I'm happy to answer them. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.